Living on the vineyard is not just about the views. It's about waking up to the ocean air, supporting local businesses, and having fresh oysters 20 minutes after they were harvested. Today I'm sitting down with someone who is doing something very special here on Martha's Vineyard, with Jeffrey, who is the owner of Husselton Head Oysters. So we're going to be talking about some local secrets, hard work behind the luxury, and what makes Vineyard Oysters truly the best in the world. Let's dive in, literally. How did you get into oyster farming?
It's a long story. My friend Jack Blake and Roy Scaffer, rest his soul, we're doing it in Eggertown, and it's something I always wanted to bring to Vineyard Haven. And it wasn't until 2019 when the town adopted some regulations, and I set forth with a plan, and the town accepted it, and here we are, 2026, 6 years in, and we're finally beginning to materialize into some of New England's finest product.
Okay. Why did you want to bring it to Vineyard Haven?
I thought that it might be an ecological benefit to the body of water that we're in, improving the biosphere. I've been told recently that the Nature Conservancy has a publication out there that 1 hectare of aquaculture can produce over 5 million pounds of seafood. And there's a variety of other benefits, filtering nitrogen. There's just so many benefits. The economic values. There are a lot of standpoints to discuss with the benefits of what aquaculture can do for the world.
I actually started this morning today with Jeffrey on the oyster farm. We started at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I learned so much about why town of Vineyard Haven requires now to upgrade septic system. Lots of buyers right now, like who buy real estate in Vineyard Haven, they get this requirement to upgrade the septic system to nitrogen, and Jeffrey actually told me the reason behind that.
Well, Massachusetts started a Massachusetts estuary project, and they were discovering how much nitrogen bodies of water had in Lagoon Pond, which is a shared body of water. It has 2 geopolitical boundaries, Vineyard Haven and Oak Bluffs. Was a washover estuary. In 1889, we put a bridge in so that people could get from West Shop to Vineyard Haven, or Vineyard Haven to West Shop, Oak Bluffs. And we started making the pond drink through a straw. And then we started developing the coastline. And through that, a lot of septic systems have been leaching into the pond. There are a number of organizations and associations trying to do what we do, but nothing compares at the moment to what we're doing. And you mentioned these IA nitrogen filtration systems. They're expensive, they work, and we'll see what kind of results we can measure from that.
What typical day on the farm looks like?
Well, you joined us this morning at 6 o'clock.
I did, but I want people also understand. I mean, I'm going to show it, but tell me the step by step.
We get in the boat. We sometimes bring ice, sometimes bring equipment. We bring a lot of energy, hopefully, and
a good mood.
And a good mood.
And a little bit of sarcasm.
Yeah, and a little bit of sarcasm. And you know, it's commercial fishing with great benefits. So it's what gets me out of bed in the morning. I'm not as young as I used to be, and we get in the boat and we get right to work. I could not do this without support with my disability. You know, I'm legally blind, and I can't drive the boat. So I've had my son work for me over the years, and now I have Joe Diodati, who told me he doesn't want to work behind a desk. I was like, okay, then let's work outside then. He's a true workhorse. You might see him come up behind us and take these 1,500 oysters that Katya helped us harvest today. And they're on their way to local markets and markets beyond in New England.
So you start the boat, you go to the farm, you sometimes like move these things around, right?
Yeah, the cages.
Yeah, the cages.
Yeah, the cages. The oysters need attention, to culture them properly, or they can be left alone and be, a different kind of oyster, like take on a wild kind of setting in the culturing process. But we really try to culture our oysters to be a fine product. We have strict quality control measurements that are upheld from start to finish, and we have federal, state, and local regulations to comply with, and we try to build our operations above that. So if we fall short, we're still within the regulations.
So you deal with the cages, then you take some oysters on your station.
Yeah.
And you take them out, clean them up a little bit.
This can happen in a number of ways, and there's as many different types of operations. This state has 351 aquaculture licenses in it, and in 35 coastal communities. So that's basically 10 per community average. So throughout those 350 licenses, you'll find a variety of measures taken to produce oysters. Some fail and some are very successful, and we try to glean operations that will work for us. So it's a lot of labor. It's labor intensive, and we try to minimize that with equipment. Some of it's archaic and archival, and it's the word medieval, right? Like some of this stuff is Flintstone technology to try and get these oysters to be cultured properly.
So you take them out, you count them, put them in your beautiful packs to send it to the clients, and you set up this badges with time because you have some standards.
Yeah,
I learned so much today.
The regulations are stringent from April 19 to October 19 because of a bacteria in the warmer water temperatures. So we developed a process that works for us to get them to ice on time, and through grants we've been able to get bags to send to local market and tags with our branding on them, so that when they reach a restaurant's walk-in cooler, they know that they are receiving Husselton Head Oysters.
Yeah,
it's the branding, and if you got a good brand with good branding, you're on target.
And you have incredible oysters.
Thank you, Katya.
What's the hardest part of this business? What people don't understand about?
The hardest part of this business that a lot of people don't understand is that it's the ecological benefit and the digestion of what are we doing and how does it benefit. Like, I like to say I'm in a public-private partnership with the town of Tisbury, meaning they provide me with 2 acres to work in and on the water, and I do what I can for the town that the town can't do for itself, which is pump 50 million gallons of water a day through our farm. 50 million gallons a day from April 15 to November 15, when the oysters are actually feeding.
It's a very impressive number.
Yeah, so it's there's a lot, people don't understand when they get a dozen oysters on a plate, the incredible amount of energy and benefit involved in that.
How does Martha's Vineyard water makes your oysters unique?
Well, as I stated, there's 350 aquaculture licenses in the state, and I would say that 90% of them have a different flavor and brine and miroir. Miroir is a French word meaning marine, and our particular location in the pond here has freshwater upwelling from natural springs that bring minerals into the water, along with diatomaceous critters that grow, and phytoplankton, right? That grows from the nitrogen, and that's the benefit. The nitrogen coming in the pond produces phytoplankton, and that phytoplankton is what the oysters eat. So that if that phytoplankton wasn't being eaten, it would grow and die and smother the bottom. And a smothering of the bottom is not good for any ecological environment. So the brine and the taste that our oysters produce is unlike any other because of the culturing and the food. See, we don't have to feed them and we don't have to water them. That's going on all by itself.
Yeah.
But we got to remember that we're mixing farming with commercial fishing. And those are two of the hardest occupations to have on their own, never mind combining them.
Yeah, that's a lot of work and very hard work.
You didn't see much of it today.
Well, I did see. It's not the hardest work?
Oh no.
Oh yeah. So I saw like just like fun kind of part.
You saw the final stage to go to market.
Okay.
Those oysters in the cooler took 2 years to get there, and I personally handled every one of those oysters no less than 100 times. They come at 1 millimeter, and now they're 75 millimeters or bigger, and I'm told that's a 5 million% increase. And there's only one way to get there, and that's to raise them with love, from seed to slurp.
What's the most common myth people believe about oysters?
Well, we know for a fact that for a long time, prior to aquaculture, that wild oysters could be harvested on the shorelines of estuaries and bays, and people were getting sick because they were cooking in the hot water and not refrigerating them. So they would say, like, only harvest oysters in the month ends of the letter R, October, November, December. And today, a cultured oyster gets harvested and iced immediately. So through the refrigeration and icing and chain of cooling processes, we can bring to market some of the finest oysters available. So the biggest myth is, like, should I be eating these today? And the answer is yes, you should be eating Husselton Head Oysters.
I tried one today in the morning.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. And I tried one so it was pretty unique experience because I tried one literally 20 minutes after it was taken from the water.
Yeah. And sometimes the cooling process, a lot of oyster connoisseurs like them better a day or two out of the water and cool down. And when the oyster relaxes after all of its tumbling and fumbling and bumbling, it relaxes and it tastes better. If you could imagine it tasting better.
I don't know how it can be better. I don't know how it can be any better.
Well, that's what I'm told. I eat them, and a refrigerated oyster can go anywhere upwards of 8 weeks.
Well, you kind of have to eat them every day fresh.
Fresh, yeah.
Forced, it's like part of work.
Right.
Very tough part of work.
Yeah.
Best way to eat oysters? Raw, grilled, what's your favorite?
My favorite is raw.
Okay.
With a little bit of cocktail. I know there's a lot of preferences out there. It's however you enjoy them. I love oyster Rockefeller. I love grilled oysters. I love smoked oysters. I used to do quite a few of them in the smoker. The beautiful part is they're gluten-free and they come on their own plate.
Yeah, and has lots of protein.
And a lot of protein, a lot of zinc.
Yeah.
You can look up. They're good for you.
I know. Like if you have lower iron, I think you're supposed to eat oysters because they increase your iron.
I know a gentleman that was on his last days and stayed alive eating oysters and oyster stew for 6 months. That's all he ate. Kept him going.
Not bad. Like I think like best actually dinner, what you can imagine is like just to eat oysters.
Yeah. Again, it's all preferential, and whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, and oysters definitely does.
I try to live a life where I don't do anything that don't make me happy. Look at that, it's beautiful oyster.
What do you wish more people knew about oyster farming?
Well, it's called agritourism, and we take people on farm tours to discover what we actually do, and we've found that that's the best way to engage with the public, to show them what actually happens to get an oyster to a plate, and hopefully they'll share with people that they encounter what they've done. And it's that kind of outreach that we can do. We sent some oysters up to Boston for I think February is now National Oyster Month.
Okay.
And we just had on August 6th National Oyster Day, and we have to be self-supporting as an organization to enlighten the world the benefits of aquaculture, particularly raising oysters. And I can't go without mentioning Joe, my partner Joe Diodati, who has taken on 49% of the business because of his enthusiasm to not want to work behind a desk.
How do you see the farm growing in the next 2 years?
Well, as I stated earlier, we chase down grants through the Department of Agriculture and the USDA, and we're waiting on notification of approval or rejection for 106 more floating cages, which would double our present position. We have the room to expand. We know that the method works, so we're just waiting to hear. So the state and the federal government understand the benefits of local seafood, and they're supporting that. You have to have the workforce. Like, it's an interesting concept. You can buy 1 million seed, but try supporting that. It's difficult. We presently have 2 million, and I think that's a number that works for us, considering it takes 2 years to go from 1 millimeter to 75.
Yeah.
So there's a constant running over of last year's seed into this year's seed, and then next year's seed getting mixed in with that. So there's a methodology behind all of this.
What does Martha's Vineyard mean to you personally?
Well, after 5 generations in Vineyard Haven seawater running in my blood, it means a lot to me. The changes that have occurred are sometimes hard to digest, but that's inevitable. The change is inevitable, and we're doing what we can to try to keep up with.
If someone wants to try your oysters, where they can find them?
We are at most local restaurants. You go to 19 Raw, you go to Noman's, you go to Homeport, you go to 9 Main. The list is endless. I haven't kept track of all of the outlets, but our primary buyers are the Fish House at the airport and the Net Result.
Okay.
And that's where our primary deliveries are made to, and they get distributed from there.
What makes your oysters that special?
What makes them special, in my view, is the amount of love and care and attention they receive personally from myself and Joe. And I wouldn't put on your plate that I wouldn't put on my plate. And there are like, it's got to be 350 different kinds of oysters in this state alone. And we strive to put the best on your plate that we can.
So you care?
We care. I care. You know what our slogan is?
Yes.
What is it?
Raised with love from seed to slurp.
and that's gonna go. Should have quotation marks on that. I coined that phrase. That's ours.
And I have a few signature questions. Best lobster roll on the island, in your opinion?
I get put on the spot here. Like, I don't eat a lot of lobster rolls, but I'm gonna plug everybody here. The Net Result, John's Fish Market, Larson's Fish Market, and of course.
You can just choose one.
Choose
one.
I choose one. I like a deep fried lobster roll, and I don't think there's one available on Martha's Vineyard.
If somebody comes to the vineyard and say, Jeffrey, tell me where I should go and eat lobster roll today.
How about the Grace Church? You can get 2 buns and a big pack of lobster meat and enjoy that. A lot of people travel to the vineyard on their boats on Friday afternoons to go to the Grace Church to get their lobster rolls. The American Legion in Vineyard Haven does them on Thursdays, I believe, too. I've had some Grace Church lobster rolls, and I'm going to go with the Grace Church in Vineyard Haven on Woodlawn Ave.
Okay. Best sunset spot?
Well, if you can fight the crowds, you could go to Menemsha. But there are a couple of other spots that I can't tell you about because they wouldn't remain the best.
Okay. What town?
Vineyard Haven.
Okay. And what is best ice cream?
The best ice cream, I would have to say, is Ben & Bill's on Circuit Ave, because it comes with a community of visitors that you can have a discussion with. That's the best kind of ice cream I like.
What is your favorite dish in which restaurant right now?
Well, I like fried clams. And I go to John's Fish Market for a fried clam plate once a summer.
And this is exactly what I love about this island, the people and the connection to the land and the sea. And there is something very beautiful about those people who are deeply connected to this land and this water. Thank you so much, Jeffrey, for talking to me and sharing your story. And if you want to get Jeffrey's oysters, and I highly recommend to try them. I'm very picky about oysters. And I had specific oysters what I used to love the best, and they're still one of my 2 favorites. And before I tried Jeffrey's oysters, and so I was like a little bit like, I love another town oysters. But when I tried his oysters, I was like, okay. So they're in my top 2 now. And you can go to his website and, right?
Husseltonhead.com.
Yes. So go to his website, there is all information, and we'll see you next week.